Illuminati derives from the Latin term Illuminatus, which means enlightened. Johann Adam Weishaupt founded the order in Bavaria, Germany. He was a young professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt when the order was first established in 1776 under the name of the Perfectibilists, which means believers in the possible. Prior to making the order, Weishaupt had received much heat from the Jesuits after being called to chair of canon law in 1773, which for a period of 90 years had been held by representatives of the Jesuits. The Jesuits had been in charge of education at Ingolstadt University since they were first requested to come to Bavaria by Duke William IV in 1549. Only books published by Catholic authors were permitted to read until 1752. Yet, text was still subject to Jesuit approval for a few decades longer. In summation, the Jesuits deemed Weishaupt to be a dangerous freethinker. They protested payment of his salary, depriving him of pay for some time, and ultimately it was Weishaupt's attempt to introduce Pierre Bail's historical and critical dictionary to the university library that led to his dismissal from the college in 1785. Weishaupt believed that the felicity and enlightenment of man was at stake, and in a sense, he wanted to liberate man by a state of enlightenment, revelation, and education beyond the norm of what was being taught at the time. He was an advocate of logic, reason, science, and philosophy, and did not see any merit and superstition in what he calls false promises of other organizations. Although Weishaupt founded the Order of the Illuminati, it was his greatest collaborator, Baron Adolf von Koenigsegg, who developed most of the structure for the order and its degree system. In spite of the eerie theories that has been formed around the Order of the Illuminati, factual information has been put out in Germany over the last 2 decades. Contrary to popular belief, the Illuminati's rituals were of rationalistic and not occult nature. Unfortunately for conspiracy theorists, the root of their conspiracy theories come from 2 discredited Illuminati detractors by the names of Augustin Barruel, a French Jesuit priest, and John Robinson, who was a Scottish physicist. The first time you see the Illuminati being a part of a conspiracy is taken from Barruel's books, Memoirs illustrating the history of Jacobanism, 4 volumes that were published in 1797 through 1798 in French, and then translated into English in 1799. The Illuminati was basically accused of infiltrating French Freemasonry and orchestrating the French Revolution. John Robinson expanded upon Barruel's work with his book entitled Proofs of a Conspiracy that was published in 1797, quoting Barruel as a source of reference to back some of his erroneous claims. In summation, Barruel and Robinson did not give a definitive link between the Bavarian Illuminati and French Freemasonry. They were ignorant of the actual documented works of Freemasonry at the time and had made many false statements to support their claims. Barruel and Robinson were simply against what the order stood for, which was essentially to liberate the people and encourage them to govern themselves and become rational thinkers, boost morality, and return to natural law. They wanted to enlighten the minds of people and free them from the dominion of superstition and prejudice. Where the order promoted freedom from church domination over science and philosophy, Barruel and Robinson saw a call for the destruction of the church. Where the order promoted overcoming state oppression, Barruel and Robinson saw the destruction of the state. Where the order promoted the education of women and to treat them like equals, Robinson and Barruel saw the destruction of the natural and proper order of society. This is false, as the order confirms under the central statutes of the order. The order declares, first of all, that it harbors no harmful sentiments, nor engages in any actions harmful to the state, religion, or good morals, but nor does it approve of such among its own members. Those conspiracies was brought to the U.S. and was published in a book written by Emmanuel Josephson entitled Roosevelt's Communist Manifesto. This book was published in 1955 during the time of the Second Red Scare, when it was rumored that communists were to infiltrate the U.S. government. Heavily influenced by the eras of Barruel's Memoirs and Robinson's Proofs of a Conspiracy, Roosevelt's manifesto mentioned the Illuminati's involvement in the French Revolution, and essentially labels the Illuminati as proto-communist. Bavarian and Illuminati-U.S. relations can be found in Robinson's Proofs of a Conspiracy, as he mentions the Illuminati moving past the French Revolution and infiltrating the U.S. from Freemasonic lodges. Roosevelt's manifesto was actually the first time the Illuminati has been associated with the insignia of the 13-step pyramid in all CNI that was adopted by the Congress on June 10, 1782. In Roosevelt's manifesto, Josephson even accused Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson of being part of the Illuminati and creating the insignia to represent the organization in its new crown success. In a letter Thomas Jefferson wrote to Bishop James Madison on January 31st, 1800, he stated he didn't even know who Adam Weishaupt and the Illuminati were until after reading the third volume of Barruel's Memoirs. In his analytical breakdown of what he come to understand, he stated that Weishaupt's intentions were benevolent and that Barruel was just a lunatic who disagreed with his doctrine. All of this is just a bad case of telephone, where every time the message got passed down, it was slightly altered, modified in attitude. An example of this can be seen in a speech that Robert Welch gave in 1966 that he raised for the John Birch Society. He did nothing but take the information from Roosevelt's manifesto and add it to it so that it fits his worldview. The evil plot about the Illuminati is nothing more than a lie that got repeated so many times that people started to believe it without any real evidence. We deal with a mythology which even at its height was denounced on rational and empirical grounds, and is clearly nonsense. What needs to be understood here is that Barruel and Robinson saw the Illuminati as a threat simply because they did not agree with their doctrine. We can easily see how introducing knowledge and ideas to people that the church did not approve can be a threat. Where religion is used as a tool or to control the cognitive processes of the public, of course promoting scientific method, philosophy, and history among other things beyond biblical text can be a problem for religious zealots. So they painted a bad picture of the Illuminati and deliberately took their doctrine out of context so that others wouldn't dare show them any support or join them. People like Emmanuel Josephson and Robert Welch just took the information, added to it, and rolled with it to support their perspective of reality and justify the second Red Scare of the 1950s and the paranoia that it provoked. Many Illuminati conspiracy theorists believe that they recruit people by promising them money, power, and fame, yet the order has never supported that idea. In their own words, taken from the Minerval degree in parts, a member who has been moved to join the order by the prospects of great power and riches will not be the most welcome. We do not care whether we have many followers or few. We ask no one to remain with us. We are not concerned neither with money nor with power and prestige. So people like Hova, Beyonce, Rihanna, Mac Miller, Ariana Grande, Lady Gaga, etc. are not idealistic candidates of the order. In fact, the symbols you see in mainstream music are symbols of a perverted Masonic cult called the Ordo Templi Orientis, which was started in the 1800s by Albert Carl Theodore Roos and Aleister Crowley, but that's a topic for another time. Just look into who controls the music industry and you will be on the right path to these artists who sell out, or who they sell out to, or who their higher master or power is. And FYI, Jews are not a part of the Illuminati. They were not permitted to join. In addition, the Illuminati didn't plan to take over all world governments and religions, establish a one world government and religion, and rule the world as most conspiracy theorists suggest. As it is written in the Minerval degree, our goal is neither power nor wealth, nor do we endeavor to usurp the rule of the world or overthrow ecclesiastic or secular governments. Thus, if you envision an order in this manner, you have deceived yourself. Weishaupt created the Illuminati to enlighten or educate those who joined him. It can be seen as a revolution because at the time the Jesuits controlled the education that Bavaria received. Rational thinking wasn't promoted, the scientific method and other philosophical studies were suppressed by the Jesuits. Weishaupt also promoted equality of men and women, self-determination, and the freedom of thought and virtue. The Jesuits didn't like this, and specifically Augustin Barruel and Catholic John Robinson set out to demonize Weishaupt and the Illuminati. Although Europe has investigated and debunked their claims on empirical and rational grounds, Emmanuel Josephson and Robert Welch still chose to push this fallacious information to the U.S. public to support the second Red Scare paranoia. This was nothing but propaganda, a script taken out of Edward Bernays' book called Propaganda that was published in 1928. Edward Bernays is known as the father of public relations, aka the Father. of propaganda. Not too many people heard of him, but he was heavily involved in ad campaigns and politics. He influenced women to smoke in a time when it wasn't acceptable. He also influenced the use of fluoride by convincing the medical world it was good. He helped convince the U.S. public that Guatemala's act of self-governance was actually a Russian communist takeover. He set up a fake news agency in the U.S. to spread the word that Russia was using Guatemala as a beachhead to attack America in order to cover up America's launched attack on Guatemala. This was a secret mission that was supported by President Eisenhower with the help of Bernays and the CIA to train a rebel Guatemalan army disguised as freedom fighters to overthrow Guatemala's government in 1954. In Chapter 1 of Propaganda, Bernays wrote that the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. I get it. Putting the name Illuminati on video titles is good clickbait. Putting Illuminati on book cover titles is a good sales pitch. But it's not the Illuminati that are pulling the strings. The Illuminati is not the big bad wolf. The answer to knowing who's who is knowing who's at the top. Who are the heads of the media, technological advances, politics, religion, education, and etc. Don't expect it to be just one individual or family. Most likely only few know who they are. Some say those at the top are alien to this planet. And I can't say I disagree, as I am a believer in the possible. In a sense, we all take the role of the Illuminati because we are all seeking enlightenment. We are all asking questions and seeking answers. We all know there is information that is being suppressed and kept secret from the public. The issue is that we are not organized. The elites are not worried about a divided people who can't come together and decide on which foot to lead with first. I am going to end here on this note. Vice is only so powerful because the good are either too idle or allow themselves to be separated because they console themselves with the visions of the future without making preparations for such a revelation. So, until next time, stay vigilant.